Welcome to Seoul in South Korea and welcome to my channel. Today we are flying on this ANA 787 over to Tokyo, Haneda in business class. Crazy but fantastic Tokyo, full of life and the amazing Japanese culture. Trying out delicious food on this All Nippon flight. Amazing legroom. For this 2-hour flight over to Tokyo from Seoul. Good morning from Seoul in South Korea. Arrived late last night from Hong Kong. Overnighted in Gimpo Airport at the hotel here. And now flying on to Tokyo this morning. So I'm going to be checking in a couple of hours for the All Nippon flight over to Tokyo Haneda Airport. It's really cold here. Went from Bangkok where it was really hot and now it's super cold. So yeah, join me on this adventure on the 787 Dreamliner, All Nippon Airlines. This is Gimpo Airport, the number 2 airport in Seoul. It's very different than Incheon. The airport has all the modern conveniences needed for domestic and international travel. Outside the terminal there's this very neat signpost of all the major cities, including Pyongyang in North Korea, which is 196 kilometers away. Check-in was initially closed when I got there, so decided to just wait in the business class line, which was cool. When it opened, the agents all stood up and bowed in unison as a Japanese traditional greeting. After the bag checked in, they asked you to watch the TV screen. Here, that is on the wall. It's kind of cool concept, but also odd, as the luggage could still go missing. The airport had an old feel to it, and after check-in, I decided to head straight to security and the lounge area. The lounge was operated by Asiana for ANA and EVA Air as part of the Star Alliance agreement. Once inside, it was quite small and compact, but had views of the runway outside. The seating was comfortable and minimal food options available. Being a neighbour of North Korea, I guess it's on their local TV every day what is going on over the border. I didn't understand any of it, of course. And now I realise the news in North Korea is about the first Russian tourists visiting there since COVID. Outside was a great view of the airport runways and the parked aircraft, and here is another quick look at the lounge seating. The food was minimal, but I had meatballs and rice for breakfast with a coffee, juice and a cake. Here is our lovely Boeing 787 Dreamliner that will be taking this short flight over to Tokyo with a typical capacity of around 220 passengers. Leaving from gate 57, it was all very organised and signposted on where people should be due during the boarding process. The gate was very near the duty-free shopping area, which I always try and stay away from so that I do not overspend on items I don't really need. Business class was Group 2 for boarding, Group 1 was for diamond members of the airline. Walking around the airport airside was cool. It's quite small, but there are still many eating places and shops to visit while waiting for your plane. A little plane spotting here is arrival Japan Airlines leaving also from Gimpo and heading over to Tokyo Narita Airport. And a China Eastern Airlines heading to mainland China, which is a couple of hours away from Seoul. Boarding the aircraft gives a great close-up view of the fuselage and engines of this fantastic plane. A first look at our seat deck for today, which is the standard business class type seat, still very comfortable, but of course it's not the room in which I would love to try out. Anyway, this seat is still great. It's wide, plush and comfortable. With great space though, there is a seat next to me. This aircraft business class has a 222 configuration with no individual private pods. The TV IFE Screen is standard size, nothing too fancy. The seat had a small table in between the two seats. And there are some small convenient storage areas to the side of the seat, along with the plugs and jacks for the electrical items and headphones. Nice little touch with these slippers, which I love, and of course a little comfort blanket for the flight. Here I am, quite happy and ready for departure. This is a very nice lady behind me helped me out later in the flight, as you will see. Here are the Panasonic headphones for the in-flight entertainment. They are noise cancelling and great quality. An additional seat-specific reading light is there along with the static privacy divider for privacy, which I was lucky I didn't have a passenger next to me. I'm in seat 3A and getting ready for departure. The boarding seemed to take quite a long time on this flight, not sure why. A very comprehensive menu was given to passengers. It was more like a book than a regular menu. Depending on the flight dates would depend on what your meal would be, as this is why it appeared to be quite a comprehensive booklet type menu. Many drinking options of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages to choose from. Departure from this rather unique airport was very quick once we left the gate. Another bit of plane spotting. Here is a Korean Air aircraft, which of course is the opposer to Asiana. The safety video was very informative and straight to the point, which of course very important. And the safety card was very easy to navigate and understand. Some more planes here, a China Southern from mainland China and an EVA Air from Taiwan. Here are some more planes which could indicate, even though this airport seemed quite quiet, it does get used by many carriers. A nice look at the terminal building before we take off and say goodbye from Seoul. Some great runway views before we leave. The weather ended up being really nice that day, though it did have a gloomy, cold start. Two more of our plane spotting lists, East Star Jet and Jeju Air, which are both low-budget South Korean air carriers. Plenty of other Korean airlines and Asian planes to be seen from the left of the plane, including this fire training plane. Now we are in pre-position for takeoff and it was pretty smooth with no turbulence. I'm excited to see the views from the plane on this flight. Our first look at the South Korean countryside which surrounds the airport. It's quite overcast up here in the air, so minimal views at this point. The in-flight map was standard, showing pretty much a straight line across the Sea of Japan. Some more South Korean countryside views here, which looks like some urbanization. Maybe this is the town or city of Gimpo. We are all settled on this flight now after a takeoff and waiting for the much anticipated lunch. A quick look at the seat close up. You can see the seat expands, not like a lie flat, but more like a cradle seat, though with full extension it is a flat angled setup. With this type of seating, the inconvenience is that you have to climb over the passenger next to you, which of course can disturb them. Sometimes it is best to opt for the aisle seat with this type of 2-2 configuration to avoid the climbing over bit. A sanitizing wipe is given before the food to cleanse the hands. A look at the legroom here, which is very good for stretching out. Here we will try out the table, which sometimes can be an issue depending on the table and seat mechanics. Here the table to come out of the arms smoothly, and I was able to open the table and stabilise it without any issues. I thought quite a small table though for a business class product, especially on a 787. Once the tablecloth, which was a paper one, was put on the table, it made it look bigger. Also a nice glass of white wine, though a small portion I must say, and a bag of nuts. Here was the lunch, which was very tasty. This was a teriyaki chicken with lots of vegetables and a gravy sauce, some bread roll, salads and a cake. It was all very nice and a neat presentation for dinnerware and plating. This white butter pot was unique, as underneath you had salt and pepper, which instead of shaking you pinched. I liked this, it gave a fresh dining experience in the air. Followed up by some coffee, which was a little tasteless. So that was a great meal, and now we are halfway through the flight and approaching Japanese airspace. A quick look at the bar here, which was not set up for this short flight, which is just aft of the business class cabin. So thanks to the lady behind me, she got very excited and pointed out to me Mount Fuji in the distance. You can see here if you look hard enough. Seeing Fuji was exciting. It was a majestic sight. Here we are now over the Japanese coastline. Another Mount Fuji view. I would like to see this close up one day. Now over the Japanese countryside, which is quite amazing. We are heading for our approach into Haneda in Tokyo. The Japanese Sea, it separates Japan and the two Koreas, and of course is known recently in the past as where North Korea fires its ballistic missiles, which is kind of scary. Now coming into land into Haneda, to left here we see the urban sprawl of Tokyo. A nice smooth landing into the second airport of the city. The first, of course, is Narita, which I went to recently for a Zip Air flight review. Check it out. Some more great plane spotting here with Japan Airlines, ANA, Cathay Pacific from Hong Kong and Malaysian. Here we have a Delta plane from the US, China Airlines from Taiwan, and a close-up of a China Southern airliner from mainland China. Tokyo is a major destination for United Airlines with a few flights going daily into this airport. So now we have arrived at Haneda. This was a great short flight with All Nippon, my first time with this airline and sampling its very nice business class product. I would definitely give this a thumbs up for the experience, and I would love to try out the room one day, which is supposed to be absolutely amazing and stunning. And here is Tokyo with the crazy Shibuya crossing. I had a great time here. Thanks so much for watching. Hit subscribe, like and notify if you want to see more of the flight review adventures. Thank you so much.